Hey, I'm Brian and this is my new laptop, the Dell XPS 15-9500. In this video we're going to unbox it and I'm going to go a little bit into my rationale behind purchasing this and especially why I picked it over the MacBook Pro 16-inch because I think that's quite an interesting question and an interesting answer for all of the people who are interested in a laptop like this. So without further ado, let's go! Okay, I'm going to have to do a little bit of multitasking here, unboxing this at the same time as telling you my rationale behind purchasing it, but let's hope we can manage that. So if you followed me on Twitter throughout the last few weeks, then you would have known that I was on the lookout for a new laptop for quite a while now. And that is because my old laptop, my Asus ZenBook Flip 14, which I have over here, was not quite up to the task anymore of editing 4K video, and especially with all of the After Effects animations that I put into my videos. It just got really slow, especially when it came to timeline performance, and also rendering took a super long time. I was up to the... come on, can we... Okay. Yeah, especially timeline performance was getting pretty bad, and also rendering took a long time, like a 10-minute video would take 40 minutes or something to render. So I had to get something new, and so I asked on Twitter what people would recommend, and of course I also looked myself. And what it came down to basically was 4 models. This one, the Dell XPS 15-9500. Is there anything else in here? No. And the MacBook Pro 16-inch, of course, and then the Razer Blade 15, as well as the new Asus G14. I also have to give a big shout out to Gerardo Delgado, who is Senior Product Manager at NVIDIA, who helped out a lot with this purchasing decision. A big thanks to you. So basically, what I was searching for is a lot better timeline performance and of course also faster rendering performance, all in a package that wouldn't cost too much money, and what I definitely wanted was a huge upgrade in the 2 regards that I just mentioned over my previous laptop. So what I found out was that the MacBook Pro 16-inch, I'm going to get this packaging away here, stuck to the desk. What I found out was that the MacBook Pro 16-inch was basically the best when it came to timeline scrubbing performance, and that it was a lot better than basically every other Windows laptop that there is. I'm a Premiere editor. For all of you who don't know, I use Adobe Premiere and Adobe Creative Suite, so I had the choice between Windows and Mac. But because the MacBook Pro has a lot better timeline performance, this is a great looking laptop. Because the MacBook Pro had a lot better timeline performance, I was leaning towards the MacBook because of course scrubbing in the timeline is very important. If you edit video, it's maybe even more important than export times. And because of that, I was looking at the MacBook, but then I found out that this one, the Dell XPS 15, actually has the same good timeline performance as the MacBook Pro. So with that, the Blade 15 and the G14 were out, because those don't have that great timeline performance. They are a bit faster when it comes to rendering because they have faster RTX GPUs, but they were also bigger than these 2 laptops, thicker, they didn't have as great screens, and there were just a bunch of other things like the gamery aesthetic and so on that didn't really speak to me about them. I would have just chosen them if they offered way better performance. So that's why those 2 were out, and now I'm going to get this out of its packaging, and then I'm going to tell you why I picked it over the MacBook Pro 16-inch, because those were the only 2 that were left. Okay, how is this supposed to work? How are we going to get this out of here? Can you lift it there? Okay. So this is the laptop. Wow, this is a dense machine. So in here in the packaging, you just have the power adapter and also a dongle, which is pretty nice, from USB Type-C, Thunderbolt to HDMI and USB. The MacBook Pro doesn't come with that. You need to buy that additionally for like 70 euros or whatever. So that's pretty nice already. And the ports are also one of the reasons why I picked it over the MacBook Pro 16-inch, more to that in a bit. You have some documentation in here and the actual power brick. This is like 130 watts USB-C, of course. And that's basically everything that's in this packaging. I'm going to get this down here. And then we're left with the laptop. That is a terrible peel job right there. get this out of here and get this out of the way. And there it is. So why did I go with this over the MacBook Pro 16-inch? Well, the reason pretty much comes down to 5 things, 2 of which are not as important and 3 of which are the real ones why I went with this over the MacBook Pro 16-inch. And wow, this screen looks already pretty great. And that is actually the first thing why I went with this. It's the more compact design because it has a 15-inch screen and a much smaller footprint. It's a lot more compact than the MacBook Pro 16-inch, and it's actually also lighter than that laptop, but that wasn't really the primary reason. And then there's also Wi-Fi 6 in here, AX Wi-Fi, so I can transfer files a lot faster to my NAS server, which also comes in clutch, but isn't really that big of a thing. What it mainly came down to is, one, that this laptop has an SD card slot, which is super nice because if I have to ingest footage from my cameras, then I don't have to use a dongle that I can forget. And with the MacBook Pro 16-inch, if I forget my dongle, then I basically can't plug in SD cards into my laptop, which would be terrible if I'm on the go shooting and can't ingest the footage. And the last 2 reasons are RAM. That's why I have this 32GB RAM kit from Crucial right here, and the price. Those kind of go together. And that's because this laptop is about 2,100 euros, as in the configuration that I have here. This has an Intel Core i7 10750H 6-core processor, the 1650 Ti, 16GB of RAM and a 512GB SSD. And this RAM is about an additional 130 euros to go on top, so it's about 2,200 euros. And the MacBook Pro 16-inch in a similar configuration with 32GB of RAM is about 3,200 euros. So it's about 1,000 euros more expensive if I wanted the 32GB RAM variant. And with this one, I can upgrade the RAM so I can go for a cheaper configuration, and it's also much cheaper as a whole. So that's in the end why I picked this over the MacBook Pro 16-inch, because it has the same great timeline performance, same rendering performance, and I'm a Premiere editor, so it doesn't really make sense for me to go with the MacBook Pro 16-inch if there's no performance benefits, and if this one is like 1,000 euros cheaper in the end. Okay, so I didn't really go into the specs in this video that much. I don't think that makes that much sense because quite frankly there are already a lot of unboxings and also reviews out for this laptop, but I think my rationale of why I purchased it over the MacBook Pro 16-inch, which basically comes down to the same performance benefits as that laptop and the much cheaper price with 32GB of RAM, because that really comes in clutch for After Effects. Yeah, that basically I think is a lot more interesting than just an unboxing where I go over the specs. But that's basically it. If you enjoyed this video, you know which buttons to press. Don't forget to press that follow button on Twitter, and don't forget to stay home and stay healthy. I'm Brian, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.